Hello and welcome to the Telegraph Studios, where I'm talking to Chris Bailey of Mercer Marsh Benefits. Chris, why should employers care about the health of their staff? Shouldn't they just be running their own business?
I think it's more a case of that if they're not looking after the health of their staff, they're not running their business properly. I think the people who run an organisation are as important as supply chain or key machinery, and actually those organisations who are investing see real returns. So we're seeing that there's actually a 40% improvement in lost productivity for those organisations who are engaging with their people's health.
So how should a company put together its healthcare strategy?
Well, first off, it's not rocket science, but it's worth looking at the problem here, which is there's an awful lot going on in the health space, but actually people don't identify with it or understand that it's a cohesive program. And that's why it's really important to create a brand and something that employees and the employers, managers identify with, so that people understand that it's a cohesive whole, and that people are actually led to a culture of making the right lifestyle choices.
But isn't it just too difficult for an employer to persuade an individual to look after his or her health?
Yeah, I think that's a bit of an excuse, to be honest. I think if you look at what's happening in the consumer market, people are buying trackers, they're using health apps, they're doing these things in their home lives. Actually, it's about the employer being a facilitator and an aggregator of those activities, and actually having a meaningful impact to encourage more to get involved as well.
You understand the market out there and what's going on. What kind of companies are kind of in need of this kind of help?
Yeah, I think 6 months ago we might have been talking about really the large global organisations, those people who probably are perceived as having a budget for this sort of type of activity. But certainly over the last 6 months we've seen more of a move to organisations of all sizes, those who recognise they've got key talent in their business or key teams within their business, and that can be a very small startup, or it can be one of those global employers.
So why have they decided to work with Mercer then?
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of organisations come at this from different angles, but Mercer is uniquely placed in that we can advise it right across the range. So it could be clinical pathways, it could be placement of appropriate benefits, use of technology, and in fact, crucially, actually communicating with employees. So across the remit, we've got it covered, and there's nothing we can't help with.
And finally, how do you see the future for healthcare?
I think we're on the cusp of a revolution in healthcare in this country. I think we'll look back at the times where people were queuing for a GP appointment and find it archaic. I think far more of healthcare will be managed online, people accessing and managing their health through their smartphones in particular.
Chris Bailey, many thanks.